Right now, somewhere over the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, there are over 100 aircraft flying in complete darkness. No landmarks, no radar watching them from the ground, nothing below them for thousands of miles but ice-cold water. And every single one of them, without exception, is following an invisible highway that didn't exist yesterday and won't exist tomorrow. This isn't a coincidence. It isn't just airline scheduling. It's scheduling, weather, money, and air traffic control all working together. And it's definitely not because pilots prefer flying at night. What's happening up there tonight is one of the most complex, quietly brilliant systems human beings have ever built, and almost nobody knows it exists. Here's the thing that should bother you. A fully loaded Boeing 787 Dreamliner can weigh well over 200 tons, depending on the model and load. That's heavier than 40 adult African elephants. It can burn several tons of fuel every hour, and yet airlines didn't build their entire transatlantic schedule around physics by accident. They built it around physics, money, meteorology, and a very specific type of tired businessman. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on all of it.
First, let's just understand the scale of what we're talking about. The North Atlantic, the stretch of ocean between North America and Europe, is the single busiest oceanic airspace on the planet. At peak hours, over 100 aircraft per hour are crossing it simultaneously. 100 per hour. Spread those planes across the ocean, and you might think, fine, there's plenty of room. But here's the problem nobody thinks about. There is zero continuous radar coverage over the ocean. Over land, air traffic controllers usually have a live radar or surveillance picture of aircraft, allowing them to monitor positions closely, issue reroutes, and manage traffic in real time. But once an aircraft leaves the coastline and heads deep over the Atlantic, the system changes completely. Traditional ground-based radar cannot cover the middle of the ocean, so controllers rely on a different kind of oceanic traffic management: satellite tracking, position reports, strict route clearances, assigned speeds, assigned altitudes, and carefully calculated separation between aircraft. They are not blind in the old sense anymore, but they are managing the sky in a far more disciplined and procedural way than they do over land. And yet, over 100 aircraft per hour continue flying through that blind spot, holding precise altitudes, precise speeds, precise lateral separation, without hitting each other. So how does that actually work? The answer involves a system so elegant and so temporary that it has to be rebuilt from scratch every single day.
To understand why the system works the way it does today, you need to go back about 80 years. The first transatlantic commercial flights in the late 1930s were an absolute ordeal. Pan American's flying boats, massive prop-driven seaplanes, would island hop across the North Atlantic, burning through fuel, hoping the weather cooperated. The crossing took over 29 hours, one way. Navigation was basically dead reckoning. Pilots calculated their position using compass headings, airspeed, and the stars. If clouds covered the sky for too long, you were guessing. As jet aircraft emerged in the 1950s and 60s, speed increased dramatically, but the ocean didn't get any smaller, and radar still couldn't reach that far. Controllers developed a system of position reporting. Pilots would radio in their location every hour at designated waypoints. Controllers would note it down, manually, on paper. That system, radio position reports, manual tracking, and strict altitude separation, became the foundation of what we use today. But in the 1960s, something was discovered over the North Atlantic that would eventually flip the entire economics of crossing it, and nobody in a passenger seat has ever heard of it.
Imagine a river. Now make that river invisible. Suspend it 10 kilometers above the surface of the Earth. Give it a current of anywhere between 100 and 300 kilometers per hour, sometimes faster, and run it roughly from west to east across the entire North Atlantic. That's the polar jet stream, and it is the single most important piece of infrastructure in transatlantic aviation, and it was built entirely by physics. Here's the simple version. The sun heats the equator more than the poles. That temperature difference creates a massive atmospheric pressure gradient. The Coriolis effect, the rotational force of the Earth, bends those pressure-driven winds into rivers that circle the planet at altitude. When an aircraft catches a strong jet stream tailwind, its ground speed can exceed 1,100 kilometers per hour. That's fast enough to cross the Atlantic in under 6 hours. On the same route, flying against that stream heading westbound, the crossing takes closer to 8 or 9 hours. Same plane, same engines, just one direction is fighting a 300 kilometer per hour headwind. The fuel difference is staggering. Catching a favorable jet stream corridor can save an airline literal tons of jet fuel per flight. For a large carrier running that route daily with dozens of aircraft, that translates to hundreds of millions of dollars annually. Airlines now employ dedicated meteorologists whose sole job is to find the optimal jet stream corridor for each specific departure every single day. Genuinely, if you're learning something here that you've never heard before, the like button takes 1 second. It's the only thing that tells the algorithm this kind of content is worth making more of. Just one tap. Okay, back to the jet stream. But here's where it gets genuinely wild. The jet stream moves every day, which means airlines can't just pick a fixed route across the ocean. The route has to move with it. Every single day, a group of specialists in 2 locations, Gander, Canada, and Shanwick in Ireland, sit down with the latest atmospheric data, wind speeds at altitude, temperature gradients, zones of clear air turbulence, the position of the jet stream, and they build a highway. Not a physical one, a series of precisely defined paths through the air, specific latitude, longitude, altitude, and speed corridors optimized to ride the best winds while keeping aircraft safely separated from each other. They publish these routes, called the North Atlantic Track System, or NAT tracks, twice a day. And here's the part that makes your brain stall. Those routes don't exist the next day. 24 hours later, the whole thing is scrapped because the atmosphere moved and a completely new set of tracks is built from nothing. Each track is assigned a letter. Pilots file for a specific track before departure, and they are expected to hold it with near military precision. Right altitude, right speed, right timing. Deviate by a few minutes, and suddenly the separation between you and the aircraft behind you compresses. That's a problem when you're 800 miles from the nearest airport. To manage this, controllers will sometimes deliberately slow a faster aircraft to maintain the buffer. A plane capable of Mach 0.89 might be held at Mach 0.84 for the crossing, just to keep the choreography tight. You know what? You've made it this far into a video about invisible highways in the sky, which means you're exactly the kind of person this channel is made for. If you haven't subscribed yet, just do it now. It costs nothing and it genuinely helps. All right, we need to talk about why night specifically makes all of this work better.
So why does so much of this happen at night? The real answer is not that pilots simply prefer darkness, and it is not because the Atlantic suddenly becomes a different ocean after sunset. The real answer is time. When an aircraft leaves New York, Boston, Toronto, or Washington in the evening, it is flying east into a completely different clock. A 6 or 7 hour flight does not just move passengers across an ocean, it moves them 5 or 6 hours forward in time.
That is why the schedule works so perfectly. An aircraft can leave North America at 9 p.m., 10 p.m., or 11 p.m., cross the ocean while most passengers are trying to sleep, and arrive in Europe early the next morning. Heathrow, Frankfurt, Schiphol, Paris, Dublin. The aircraft lands just as the European day is beginning. That timing is gold. For passengers, it means they do not lose a full working day sitting on a plane. For business travelers, it means they can leave after work, sleep in the air, land in the morning, and still make meetings. For airlines, it means the aircraft arrives in time to feed the next wave of connecting flights across Europe, Africa, the Middle East, and Asia. And this is where the North Atlantic system becomes so brilliant. The eastbound flow naturally builds at night because everyone is trying to do the same thing: leave North America in the evening and arrive in Europe in the morning. So the NAT tracks are designed around that wave of traffic. Later, during the day, the pattern reverses, with more aircraft heading west from Europe back toward North America. So night is not the magic ingredient by itself. Night is the window where passenger demand, time zones, airport connections, jet stream planning, and oceanic traffic management all line up. The darkness is just what we see from the window. The real machine is the schedule underneath it. Now, here's the angle nobody ever mentions when this topic comes up, and honestly, it might be the most important driver of the entire system.
Let's talk about money. A single business class seat on a transatlantic flight can cost anywhere from $3,000 to $8,000 one way. A single seat. Economy might run $400. Do the maths. One business class passenger can generate more revenue than 6, 7, sometimes 10 economy passengers combined. Airlines didn't design transatlantic schedules around atmospheric physics. They designed them around the person who needs to be in London for a 9 a.m. meeting. That executive wants to leave New York in the early evening, ideally after the workday ends. They want to sleep in a flatbed for 6 hours. They want to land at Heathrow at 7 a.m., clear customs, and walk directly into a cab feeling, if not rested, at least functional. A daytime flight delivers them into London at midnight local time, exhausted, having wasted an entire working day in the air. The overnight schedule serves the highest-paying passenger on the plane. The physics just happen to agree. If you know someone who flies for work, or anyone who's ever wondered why their transatlantic flight is always at an inconvenient time, share this video with them, genuinely. It's the kind of thing that makes you look knowledgeable at dinner for approximately no effort.
Now, here's something that most passengers have never heard of, but it's one of the most consequential changes in the history of commercial aviation. For decades, crossing the Atlantic required aircraft with 3 or 4 engines. The logic was simple. If one engine fails over the ocean, you have 800 miles of open water with no runway anywhere nearby. On a 2-engine aircraft, losing one engine means you're flying on your remaining 50% thrust. That's not a comfortable position to be in. So for years, aircraft like the Boeing 747 and the Lockheed L-1011 dominated the Atlantic. 4 engines, expensive to maintain, expensive to fuel. Then came ETOPS, Extended Range Twin-Engine Operational Performance Standards, a regulation framework that allowed twin-engine jets to prove through rigorous testing and data that they could safely fly for up to 180 minutes on a single engine to reach an alternate airport. The Boeing 777 and later the 787 Dreamliner were built from the ground up for ETOPS. 2 engines, far less fuel burn, lower maintenance costs. And suddenly, airlines that couldn't afford to operate 4-engine fleets could start their own Atlantic routes. It's why today you can fly non-stop from secondary cities, Porto, Edinburgh, Reykjavik, that would never have been viable before. The twin-engine revolution opened the Atlantic to everyone. And all of that, the route system, the jet streams, the aircraft selection, feeds into something even bigger, something most people never think about when they land in Europe.
When a transatlantic flight lands at Heathrow or Frankfurt at 7 a.m., it isn't just delivering its passengers. It's triggering a wave. Within 2 to 3 hours of that arrival, dozens of onward flights will depart to Dubai, Lagos, Singapore, Nairobi. The transatlantic arrivals aren't the destination. They're the fuel for the next round of departures. A passenger out of Chicago can be in Dubai by end of day. That is only possible because the overnight Atlantic crossing delivered them into the hub at exactly the right moment. And underneath all of this, literally in the belly of the aircraft, is cargo, perishables, pharmaceuticals, express freight. The cargo hold of a transatlantic widebody can carry several tons of goods, and on many flights, that cargo revenue is the difference between a profitable crossing and a break-even one. It's a parallel economy running under your feet that you've never once thought about. Real quick, where in the world are you watching this from? Drop it in the comments below. I'm genuinely curious where this video ends up. Australia? London? Toronto? Let me know.
Here's the thing about the overnight Atlantic crossing that I keep coming back to. There's no law that says planes have to cross at night. The ocean doesn't become safer in the dark. The engines don't care what time it is. But over 70 years, the system evolved through trial and error, through fuel crises and regulatory breakthroughs, and the quiet demands of sleeping executives into something that works on every level simultaneously. The physics want night flights. The business model wants night flights. The hub connection schedules want night flights. The invisible highway over the ocean want night flights. When something is efficient at that many levels at once, it stops being a coincidence. It becomes a design, even if no single person ever sat down and designed it. The next time you settle into your seat at JFK at 11 p.m., pull the window shade down and try to sleep over the Atlantic, you're participating in one of the most quietly extraordinary engineering achievements in human history. The ocean below you is empty. The sky above you is full. If this kind of video is your thing, the hidden systems that run the world, the engineering behind things that look effortless, then subscribe. There's a whole playlist on the screen right now with videos exactly like this one. Click on whichever title pulls you in. I'll see you in the next one.